Welcome back to Great Day Houston. Well, this holiday season, a lot of people will be cheering with wine. For our next guest, that's 24/7 because, well, it's his job. Yannick Benjamin is a sommelier and co-founder of Wheeling Forward. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Right. So wine, for a lot of us as kids, it was one of those things that our parents may have done.
Right.
And then we came into it later as adults. But for you, it was always around because your parents are French, the biggest wine people of all.
Absolutely. Always on the table. It was Sunday nights was a big day, big night for our family. We all got together. A specially prepared dish by my mom, wonderful cook, and a special bottle of wine.
Because it was part of a meal.
It was part of the meal, exactly, and it was it was just great memories, and we continue to do it up to now.
Yeah, all right. So at one point you dreamed about owning your own version of Cheers.
Yeah.
which is great, because
Yeah.
Cheers,
Yeah.
right? Right?
That's true.
Yeah, good people, simple food, great wine. And of course, that's kind of where we're at right now, is we're getting back to really basic things. Good, nutritious food.
Absolutely.
You know, good wines.
Absolutely.
2003, there was a car accident.
That's right.
That kind of turned things upside down for you.
That's right. I was working as a sommelier already at that time at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel on Central Park South in New York, and I sustained a spinal cord injury, which left me paralyzed from the waist down. But I was very fortunate to have such a strong backbone of family, friends, and that love and that emotional support that I really needed to get through those tough times.
Because there are a lot of folks. I mean,
Yeah.
there are some folks who just get up and keep going. It's
Right.
like, God bless them. You know,
Yeah.
For a lot of us, you're stopped in your tracks and you have to kind of reevaluate. How long was that moment for you where you're like, okay, wait a minute, before the switch clicked on and said, wait a minute, I can't focus on what I can't do. Let me focus on what I can do, and I can get back to what I love.
Yeah, I have to give a lot of credit to this one doctor, Dr. Thomas Theory. I had a really bad infection on my leg, and he knew how stubborn I was after my accident. I was just trying to like rule the world and conquer all these challenges, and he just finally said, you have to slow down, you have to adapt to what's around you, but also make it adapt to you as well.
Yeah.
And I just kind of, kept that, and that's sort of my motto.
So you did apple juice and water for a long time while you were healing,
Right.
and then you opened
Right.
that great bottle of wine. You
Yeah.
remember that moment?
Yep.
That was like what, it was like in 2000 or something?
2000.
Yeah.
So that great bottle of wine was right after I had been in the hospital for 7 or 8 months. I was back home. I was a little down. I was a little depressed. I was afraid that I was never going to be back in the wine industry. And of course, while I was in the hospital, people gave me tons of bottles of wine.
Yeah.
Like, well, I better start opening them. And I had this beautiful Joseph Roti from Burgundy. Opened it up. It was fragrant, it's beautiful, and I said, I have to figure this out.
Yeah.
And I went back at it.
Which is great. And here you
Yeah.
are today. All right, you brought some wines for us
Yes.
today. And it's interesting what's happened with wine over the last, couple of decades is the fact that there used to be limited wineries.
Right.
And so wine was expensive, right?
That's
It was
correct.
supply and demand.
Yeah,
Today,
right.
there are many more wineries.
Right.
If you can produce a grape, you can produce a wine.
Yep,
That
you're
means it's going to be good.
No, but you're absolutely right.
It helps us to be able to, everybody can afford it.
Right. We're featuring wines of Provence, which is the most important, I think, rosé appellation region in the world.
Mm-hmm.
They make some of the finest rosés. You can drink it on its own, you can pair it with food, but it's all year round. It's no longer rosé equates summer, but it's rosé throughout the whole year. And especially here in Houston, you guys have fantastic weather during winter, so you can drink it all year round.
All rosé all the time.
Absolutely.
Okay, this one right here is what?
All right, so you're drinking a wine from IX over here. X, excuse me, this is the producer. And this is a Grenache Senso blend with some Syrah in it. And this is very generous, soft, round.
Oh, wow, yes.
And it's actually something that can go well with sushi. You can play around with it with some barbecue. Rosés are, they
This
compare
can go well
with
with itself.
Yeah,
I
that's
just
right.
say. This is a good solo act right here.
But I think it's very satisfying, very thirst quenching, just very...
That's where you can get in trouble,
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
almost like a good
Yeah.
drink, and on a hot day,
Exactly.
you can gulp that down.
Exactly.
All right, that's how smooth it is. All
So
right?
this is a different style right here in itself. This is actually from Chateau Parasol, 2016. And this is also some Grenache, but there's also some Uni Blanc in here as well,
that's
and Roe. And it's kind of almost drinks like a white wine, but lots of minerality, the salinity to it, very fresh and very crisp, This is a type of rosé that you want after you do a marathon, right? Just kind of like,
Okay,
very
speaking
refreshing.
of marathons, you're a para-athlete as well.
Yes, I am, yes.
So tell us about that.
So I just finished my 8th New York City Marathon, but I do them now because I raise money for my charity, and it's just, so it's
Wheeling
not about
Forward?
doing, Wheeling Forward, and so it's no longer about just doing the marathon itself, but it's about raising money and awareness.
Yeah.
And so it's great stuff.
All right.
So the next one that you're having over here is Domaine Saint-Jean Le Vieux, and this is a
wait,
little bit...
You are from French parents, but let me just say, as a sommelier,
delicious.
you really have to almost understand so many different languages,
Many
don't
different
you?
languages,
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah, for sure. I'm very lucky because I speak French and I grew up with in a French household, so definitely advantage for me. But trying to speak German sometimes is very tough too. So I get it.
Yeah.
I understand. But this one's a little bit more full body. This is from Coteau Valois, which is within the Provence appellation, kind of like dead center. It's a warmer microclimate here, but you can feel that, like more of the strawberry water kind of a note too, but very, very pretty. This is probably the most food friendly. You can get away with it with some meats and all that.
Wow. Okay. All these are good on their own.
Yeah.
I bet they would taste even much better if you combined it all.
You
Most sommeliers cringe when I do this, but okay. All right. This is called a blend, I believe, right?
You'll be known as the wine mixologist.
Yeah, right. There you go. This is called a blend. Let's see what that tastes like right there. Okay, you won't admit it, but this is really good.
I don't doubt that. I mean, listen, it's all from Provence, and Provence really represents the greatness of rosé. This is what it is.
And I'm going to back up again too. I was just joking with that, but backing up to the fact that price tag doesn't determine what's good. Neither does a cork versus a screw top, right?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's all about the love and the care that the winemaker puts behind that bottle of wine.
Yeah.